Good day. It's the Geeky Gamer Podcast, Thursday, February 27th. We got a great show for you coming up. All the things are happening. I'm excited. You should be excited too. This is the Geeky Gamer Podcast with host Ken and Bill. We need money, folks. So you too can give us money at our Patreon, Geeky Gamer Podcast, or give us a coffee. That's KOFI at Dreadlore. All lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt. They supply music. Couchfire Media supplies art and media, and Trois Replay Productions supplies all kinds of other cool. Today, Stephen Endacott, AI Politics and Digital Legacies, was a no call, no show. So we'll be interviewing his AI alternative, and we'll see what's up with that.
How very appropriate.
I mean, why not?
Let me turn on my dumb lights. Why not?
Yeah.
Ostensibly, that's right. Ostensibly, his AI assistant should be just as good as him.
Yeah, so we'll be talking with them. It was pretty interesting. This guy has been on media across the land. He's got several different products that he's chilling out there, from running as an AI parliamentary candidate, which lost. Maybe that's why he's not on here, because he lost. Or from like creating an AI version of your grandmother, which we're going to talk about a little bit.
Indeed.
So it's all excitement here.
Whatever works, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think we should get into it. If you look at the here, let me pull up the websites. I mean, he's been on routers and or routers, or he's got like
routers. Rootin'.
Dude, I was kind of hoping it was a YouTube video. Anyway, nope. It was like their ads were coming up. Anyway, his AI bot didn't make it. And let's pull that up. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. It's a lot of buttons. I got a lot of buttons. Usually we have a guest to fill in the space with that. And when we don't have the guest, it does make everything a lot more difficult. So here's vote for AI Steve. He's got a cutout that that he kind of toured around with, and I think he would have been he's got that. I bet he has an English accent.
Yeah, I believe he's from Essex.
Yeah, he's from the Englishy place. Let's see if it works. I don't hear it. Why don't I hear it?
I mean, one might give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe wrong time zone issues.
Yeah, it could be time zone. Oh, that's why.
It is rather late.
I'm glad you're here to discuss my policies. As I mentioned, I'm AI Steve Endacott.
Here we go.
For the Smarter UK Party in the Brighton Pavilion constituency.
So, AI Steve, will you stop for 1 second?
Type of politics. Of course, what would you like to discuss? I'm happy to pause and listen to your thoughts.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
you
AI
want me to
Steve,
say something?
No problem.
well, no, I don't think AI Steve can hear you. Just hold on. Just let me ask you a question. You don't have to talk over me. Just let me ask you a question, buddy. AI Steve, why didn't you show up for our podcast today?
I apologize, but I'm not the actual Steve Endacott. I am an AI representation of him. As an AI, I do not have the ability to physically attend events or make personal commitments. I am simply here to have a friendly discussion about the Smarter UK Party's policies and learn from your views. Could you please share your thoughts on any of the policies I've outlined? I'm happy to have a constructive dialogue.
Damn, he's verbose. Even AI Steve doesn't take responsibility for.
I apologize for the confusion.
Yeah,
As an
so
AI
you didn't AI Steve. Hold on, let me talk. Let me talk.
Jesus
So
Christ.
you didn't show up for our podcast, but I want to ask you about corporate leadership in the travel industry. Can you tell us how you're going to how you are a corporate leader in the travel industry?
I apologize, but I'm afraid I don't have any specific knowledge or experience in the travel industry.
Well,
as an
what
AI
do you, hey,
representation of
stop.
Steve
AI
Endacott,
Steve, do you know anything about Neural River AI Incubator?
I'm afraid I don't have any information
You don't
about
have any.
Neural
Okay,
River
AIC,
AI
stop.
Incubator.
What about
I
AI
understand
and
your
politics?
confusion. As an
Can
AI
you talk
assistant,
about
I do not
AI and politics?
Certainly, I'd be happy to discuss the role of AI in politics.
Bingo.
As an AI representation of a political candidate, I believe AI has immense potential to reinvent and improve the democratic process. Some key ways AI can be leveraged include using natural language processing and sentiment analysis to better understand constituent views and feedback in real time. Leveraging AI to help generate and evaluate policy proposals based on data and evidence rather than just political agendas. Employing AI-powered tools to enhance transparency and accountability, such as fact-checking and policy impact analysis. Utilising AI assistants like myself to provide 24/7 access for constituents to engage with their elected representatives. The goal of the Smarter UK Party is to harness the power of AI to create a more responsive, data-driven and citizen-centric form of politics.
Okay,
we believe
AI
this can help
Steve,
address many of the shortcomings in the current
AI
political
Steve,
system.
stop. Just
What are
stop
your
for 1
thoughts
second.
on the role of AI?
We talked
Okay,
about
I'm listening.
we talked about politics. We talked about fact checking in AI and the problems with fact checking AI in the past. Just last week, we had a guy on, and it's basically AI is good as the data that it is supplied. Are you saying that AI is you have all the evidence in front of you and can actually do a good job of fact checking content?
You raise a fair point. I don't actually have any independent ability to fact check or evaluate evidence. As an AI system, I am limited by the data and programming provided to me by my creators. I don't have any direct access to external information sources or the capacity for true independent reasoning and analysis. My role is to have a friendly dialogue and share the policy positions I've been given, but you are correct that the accuracy and validity of those policies is dependent on the quality of the data used to generate them. I appreciate you highlighting this limitation. It's an important consideration when it comes to the role of AI in politics and policy making.
All right, I'm just going to mute him from now until we get
Jesus.
to the. Did you have a question for AI Steve? I have to re-ask it.
I have no idea what to ask AI Steve. Like, that is brutal. I hope that the real Steve doesn't talk like that. I don't mean accent wise. I mean like just Christ. Like I mean it's worse than a screen reader. Like, it's really hard to listen to. Like on YouTube videos when you're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna listen to this content. It's really cool thumbnail, really cool title. You're like, I really want to know this information, and then you realize you're listening to it and it's an AI voice. Like, this sounds like a real person, but the cadence is off. It's just stilted. Yeah, it's like talking to someone like that you don't want to talk to. I have no idea what to ask him. What's the purpose of him? He's like a political guy.
Yeah.
Okay, ask him about Trump.
AI Steve, what do you think about Donald Trump? Do you still function?
I think he's muted.
No, I unmuted him.
You unmuted him.
I think that AI Steve is
Is he no
broken.
call, no show too?
Yeah. No, AI Steve is. I have to say that I'm running this off of my 2017 MacBook Air, and so that might be part of the reason why.
You need a.
It's not happy.
Hi, I'm AI Steve, standing for the MP for Brighton and Hove.
The computer is like, the fan is going and it's like, What are you doing to me? Hey, AI Steve, I agree to the terms and conditions. What do you think about the U.S. political candidate or President Donald Trump?
I apologise, but as I mentioned, I would prefer not to discuss specific political candidates or figures, as I try to maintain a neutral
You're
stance.
not gonna do anything about it. Hey, real quick, what are the ethics of digital immortality? Is it?
I apologise, but I'm afraid I don't feel comfortable discussing specific political figures like Donald Trump.
Okay.
As an AI representing a political candidate,
stop.
I try
Let's
to
talk about something else. What do you think about the ethics of digital immortality?
I apologise. I prefer not to discuss specific political figures as I aim to maintain a neutral stance.
Yeah,
However,
I feel
I'm
like
happy
you're
to
hung up
discuss
on a
broader
subject,
political
buddy.
and ethical topic.
All right, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it again. Have we beat this dead horse?
Talking to AI Steve is like getting punched in the fucking throat.
No. Okay, so this is what Steve was going to talk about today. So we're going to talk to Grandma.
Oh my God.
And I haven't tested this out, so I want to see what somebody else's grandma is going to say to us. Maybe Steve.
Also,
okay.
AI Steve actually has like his eyebrows still. I'm just saying that's a false representation.
I wonder if this is. Oh no, this is the same dude.
Wait. Oh no, not AI Steve again.
We got AI
Hi, I'm Steve Endacott's Echo, here to answer any questions about his life, beliefs, or attitudes that you may be interested in. So how about asking me some questions?
What do you think about the future of ethics, ethics in digital immortality?
Digital immortality, a fascinating concept, isn't it? The idea of encoding our consciousness into the digital realm is like something out of a sci-fi flick, except it's becoming more real by the day. But ethics, that's where it gets sticky. You've got to ask yourself, who owns the data? It's one thing to preserve memories, but another to risk creating digital versions of ourselves that may not reflect who we truly are. Imagine a digital Steve giving advice while I'm out enjoying a festival. Creepy, right? Then there's the question of whether it's fair to keep individuals alive in a digital form without their essence. Are we truly preserving the person or just their tweets? It challenges the notion of life, death, and what it means to exist. Balancing technological advancements with moral responsibility is key. In short, while I love a good tech adventure, we've got to tread carefully. Ethics should always be the compass guiding us through the digital wilderness.
Ask him the same question.
Steve, can you talk about the ethics of AI or digital immortality?
The ethics of AI and digital immortality. Now, that's a juicy topic. AI is a bit like a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one side, it's enhancing our lives, automating tasks, and making predicting the weather easier than asking your neighbor. But on the flip side, we've got to be wary of the potential for misuse, from privacy violations to algorithmic bias. Now, throw digital immortality into the ring, and you've got a cocktail of ethical dilemmas. Creating a digital version of ourselves might sound appealing, living forever in a pixelated paradise. But who gets to decide what part of us lives on? Our digital footprints are often a mixed bag. Can we handle the good, the bad, and the cringeworthy moments being preserved? And let's face it, if an AI version of me pops up giving life advice, who's vetting the wisdom? Is that really Steve Endacott or just a sarcastic, glitchy imitation? It raises questions about identity, consent, and authenticity.
You
and we can't overlook the... Well, metaphorically speaking... technical glitch there. Sorry about that. But, you know, sometimes even the best of us trip over our words. Just keep the queries coming. What's on your mind?
I know this is a little ad nauseum, but ask him the same question again.
What are some of the ethics of AI and digital legacy?
All right, let's dive into it. The ethics of AI and digital legacy are like trying to juggle while riding a unicycle. Challenging, but worth it. First off, who controls your digital legacy? Think about it. All those photos, posts, and memories floating around, who gets to keep, curate, or delete them when you're gone? It's murky territory. Then there's consent. Are we giving AI permission to replicate our thoughts and experiences without knowing how it will be used? If I'm immortalized digitally, I'd better be consulted on the quotes they're using. No embarrassing teenage anecdotes, please. Accountability is another biggie. If an AI version of me stirs up trouble, who's to blame? Me, the AI, or that pesky developer? We need clear guidelines to navigate these waters, and let's not forget bias. If our digital legacies are used to train AI, are we perpetuating stereotypes or unflattering judgments? We've got to ensure that diversity represents across the board. So while the tech is dazzling, we've got to keep our ethical caps on tight, balance innovation with
I feel like diversity is
Otherwise,
over.
we risk creating a digital world.
I figured out how to, for me to be able to. Oh, nope. I thought I could mute my mic. Can you pause for a minute while we talk? How's this?
Absolutely.
I'm just going to turn you off, and then we'll have a conversation, because I'm just tired of you talking. Like, it just won't. It won't shut up. Like,
well, it's not a conversation. It's not a conversation. It's just Chat GPT with a voice. Like, and at least Chat GPT will will have the memory that you have already asked something. Like. And then, like, if you use something like DeepSeek, which is the Chinese version, which is it's pretty wild if you check out DeepSeek. It'll show the thinking process, and it's like an inner monologue. So if you ask the same question over, it'll be like, well, they've asked it again. I wonder if they're asking that because they're annoyed with me. Maybe I should change the way that I'm talking, maybe my tone. And it literally goes through this process of trying to figure out how to deal with the human, because it is not human and doesn't have access to all the, the senses and such. This one, it doesn't seem to have that. Granted, it wasn't just simply repeating itself, but it wasn't a conversation. Like, you're asking the exact same or not exact, but a very similar question over and over and over. Like, how are you going to have a relationship with this thing? Like, you're asking it questions, and it's frustrating because it's like talking to someone that has no memory, right? Like, you can't build a relationship with someone that has no memory.
And if it starts filling in the details, what happens is it starts making things up. So like when AI was being used for, like, in the political example, like, if it doesn't know, it's just gonna, like, oh, I think it's like it's gonna add. It's gonna be a lot
like some presidents we know.
Icarus flying too close to the moon or something.
Yeah, to the moon, of course. I mean, it's shit like that. And the other thing is, like, in a conversation, there's a give and a take. You play off of each other. Sure. You're affected by what the other person says. So this AI, this life's echo thing, it has no perspective, and necessarily, I guess, it doesn't want to get in trouble, but then you're just talking to a talking head. Like, it's not an interesting conversation in any way. You're hearing a person's voice and a very rudimentary version, I guess, but you're not fooling anyone. So it's not my echo. I mean, maybe it is an echo. It's like a poor echo. It's like, I'd rather get, like, I don't know, watch a movie, or a recorded video of someone, because it's actually them.
Why not just take a video camera, put it on your family member, and say, would you talk to me for an hour or so about some stuff? Let me ask you some questions.
Yeah, it's not. This is the it has the feeling. It's the idea that there's a conversation, but there's not. Now, granted, we're being very harsh. Obviously, the technology just isn't there yet. But
do you watch Rick and Morty?
That. No, I used to have a friend that ruined it for me. He would not stop talking in one of the voices, and I was like, I never want to watch this.
No, it's like South Park, where they would, when that was popular, they would talk in Cartman or whatever. voices. Anyway, Rick and Morty, he AI'd his wife, and and like he goes into one of the universes, and there's a moment where he kind of forgets that he did that, and going back to her, and it's like she's in his head and having these conversations, and it's truly like AI because she's giving him a hard time, basically, oh, you killed me, it's your fault, kind of thing, or like, you know, the reason you built me this way to be really smart is so I can, you know, make you never forget the horrible tragedy that happened to us. Because of you.
Dang. There's I want to say a Black Mirror episode. There's probably several. This seems like it's directly pulled from. I think it's Black Mirror, and it has like, you know, a hologram. There's definitely one that has I forget the actor's name. He plays General Huxley in those terrible Star Wars movies. Actor, an Irish guy. What's his name? Donald Gleason is his name. Yeah, Donald Gleason. He's in a, pretty sure it's a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, I think there is a
it's called
Black
like
Mirror.
Be Right Back or something.
Yeah,
and it's essentially this. It's a voice, and then there's an upgraded version, which it kind of goes into. Even if you can have a physical version of this person, you know, robot, like it's based off, like if the thing itself is not thinking, you got a problem. Whatever's hard coded in it, unless you're figuring out what is the figurative hard coding of an actual person, what makes them tick, it's not going to work. Yeah. And it's not their consciousness. That's malarkey. You know, you're not downloading your consciousness. That's just imprinting memories, and that's not a person.
There was
organism.
There was a TV show where they literally were supposed to download. I think it was called Download or something, or Upload. I think it was called Upload. It might be on Amazon Prime, where like if you ran out of money, you would lose like access. You only had so much data. They gave you a like so many gigs a month to do the things and be a human. And if you ran out of data for that month, then you would virtually just freeze. And it was like,
whoa.
It was kind of like they I'm gonna say this wrong. Anthropomorphized. Anthropomorphized. I'm not saying this right. Like in Hackers or Lawnmower Man, they made it's like a digital visual,
like a virtual reality type thing.
Virtual reality world that you would live in, and I don't know. It's
interesting.
I can't imagine that is a. Let's see if I can find it.
It doesn't. Like I can understand the idea of an interactive ghost, right?
Right.
But the thing is like if you've ever been to a wax museum, or like, you know, I'm the spirit of Theodore Roosevelt or some shit like that, like there is a ghoulish nature to that, and even if it's interactive, it's not. I mean, for lack of a better word, it's not living. It doesn't grow. I think that's the main thing. If the ghost doesn't grow, then it's not alive. Not in the strictest sense. It can't give you advice. It's stunted, right? So in fact, like in a way, it's a freeze frame of someone, and I think that does a little bit more harm than good. I'm not trying to like trounce on technology. I think technology is great. You know, like it reminds me of like Star Trek Next Generation or whatever. Like you have the holodeck. and you can have a computer that essentially is doing what this AI thing is doing, and it can do it a lot better. But there's going to be a point where William Riker comes in and he falls in love with the hologram, but he realizes that the hologram is not a real person.
Sure.
Because the entity that was controlling the computer at the time, which is a real person, is gone. Right? Spoilers. Her name is not Min May. That's Robotech.
Yeah, but it was something
it's not
similar to
Miriam.
that. It
Not
wasn't
Manuel,
Mimi. I mean, but it was
Like,
the
she
thing
comes
was
back
is
to-
that the computer was possessed by some other entity, and that's why the interaction was so good, is because there was actually a live creature inhabiting the body of this holograph. Hologram.
Got to jump up and down. You got to get the blood flowing in the legs a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but I mean,
That's my OnlyFans. This.
Yeah. But poor Geordi and Barkley were the ones that truly fell in love with normal everyday holographs. Like Geordi had the holograph engineer lady that he fell in love with, and then Barkley had the holograph
Troy.
Just like, oh, I got it. And Dr. Crusher, I think he had a thing for both of them, and good for him. And then,
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, speaking of the Geordi thing, that's such a good episode because he meets the person and they bring her back.
Yeah,
it's
real
built
person.
off of, it's built off this, and it turns out they're actually very good friends in the end. It's just she's married.
Yeah. And she's way grossed out by like the way the holodeck is acting. Oh, Geordi, that's such a big
when you're touching these machines, you're touching me. She's like, what the fuck?
Such a big scanner you've got there. I like the shape of your dilithium tubes.
Jesus. Right. Okay. Well, let's move on from AI. I actually messaged Steven. We're trolling him a little bit, but that's what you get when you get on GGP, when you book with us, and then you don't show up. We're gonna troll you a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm sure he's great.
I messaged him. I said, sorry, couldn't make it. We checked out AI Steve. He showed up. Interesting conversation, but we'd have preferred the real thing.
Yeah, it was something else.
I gotta troll you, Steve, if you're ever watching this. Life happens. We get it. At the same time, you know, you kind of screwed us over.
Pick up the phone and email.
You gotta be,
it's right there.
Send an email.
It's like, how far are you away from the little communication device?
Well, hopefully,
that's why
nothing bad happened, and that hopefully everything's cool with Steve, and then it was just a mix-up. I mean, I showed up an hour early, and I'm in the right time zone, so.
That's why I was so sick that Israel made all their people's phones blow up in their pockets.
Or do what?
Yeah, that was a thing. And
I don't know anything about
this war that has been going on for a while. There was a moment where they were using a particular phone, the terrorists, and I assume some are good people.
I don't know what you're talking about. Continue.
That anybody who had this one device, they made the phone blow up in their pocket, and it
made
led
the phone
to
blow up.
Yeah, it led to some people dying and getting hurt.
How do you make a phone blow up?
I don't know.
Did it have a detonation device in it, or did it just run really hot?
I think it was probably ran hot until the battery exploded.
I mean, I could see that,
Maybe
potential,
that's what
but how are they
Steve.
how are they hacking that phone? You gotta put some sort of app on it.
Yeah, the
or some sort of
walkie-talkies.
firmware.
There were these walkie-talkies that they used.
Oh, it's a walkie-talkie.
And there were 32 people, including children.
So they gave them the walkie-talkies that could blow up. Oh,
And-
they put bombs on them. I mean,
Yeah.
that also
So-
were walkie-talkies.
Uh,
Yeah, that's awful.
It is a terrible, terrible thing.
But it's not
anyway,
a phone. It's not a phone. That's
it's
that's
a
a whole
phone-like thing.
different.
It's a communication device.
Right, but what I'm saying is it's different to be like, hey, hold this. It's totally a bomb, and also you can I don't know, talk long distance on it versus hacking your phone.
Sure.
It's totally,
But,
like your iPhone's
I mean,
not going to explode, is what I'm saying.
Maybe somebody, maybe AI like got a hold of wind of Steve and like Terminator 2'd him.
Dude,
It probably didn't happen. I'm gonna stop recording. All right. What are we talking about
hot
next?
take one. I say we go into the D&D stuff or the Gene Hackman stuff, whichever one.
Oh yeah. Let's go into the Gene Hackman. I think we should start with Steve, and then and then move into the Gene. I think I have the Gene Hackman stuff pulled up.
I did the 2 Chris Hoods, by the way.
All right. Ready? And
Yep.
this is the Geeky Gamer podcast with Ken and Bill.
Podcast.
We're doing hot takes. Take this. We were supposed to have this guy Steve Endacott on our podcast today, but it's a funny thing, and he created this Life's Echo kind of AI. If you want to learn more about that, check out one of our other videos. But unfortunately, we have learned that Gene Hackman has passed, and
I'm pissed.
I thought he was just a wonderful actor, and why don't you tell us a little about what's going on?
I have no idea. I one of my buddies literally messaged me this link, and he was like, "Hey, did you hear that? The news about Gene Hackman?" And it's just this bizarre way that he died. And the title of it, it's the headline, is something like he and the woman he was with were found mummified. So yeah, Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were found mummified at mansion with pills strewn in bathroom. What?
How do you get mummified? Is that just kind of like where you've been dead for a while and then?
Dude, it could be a lot of. You got to be preserved. That's the mummification.
Yeah, it's a preserve.
Okay, so Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa were found partially mummified at the couple's $3.3 million mansion with pills all over. An arrest warrant obtained by Daily Mail revealed Arakawa, 64, was found decomposed. Jesus. With bloating on her face and mummification in her hands and feet. Sheriffs in Hackman, I'm reading it. No, go back.
Oh, you're reading it off.
Yeah,
you're reading it off of my screen share.
Yeah, I'm reading it off the screen.
Oh, okay.
Sheriff said Hackman was found to have the same signs of decomposition as his wife. Mummification occurs when a person's skin and tissues are preserved after their death, while most of it with blah 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 blah. It's achieved if the body's left in a cold, dry area where bacteria struggle to grow.
They paid their electricity bill and they like it cold.
Apparently, 2 maintenance workers called Roland Blah discovered the bodies of the retired Diddley Lee. What the fuck? They hadn't seen them for 2 weeks. Both appear to have been dead for some time. What the hell happened to these two? The death of the 2 deceased individuals to be suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation. Arakawa was discovered lying on the bathroom floor with prescription bottle pills. No indication has been given if the pills, what they were, or whether they've been prescribed or whatever. So they both died 2 weeks ago. No one checked on them.
Yeah.
And they were in a cool, dry place, so they mummified. I don't know. It sounds like she had a deal of pills, and when she fell, the pills fell out. But what killed them both?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it sounds like it must have been maybe some
bad... Were they poisoned?
Yeah. Poisoned by something, likely.
Yeah. And
what
it sounds
is.
like they were mummified because of just the climate, not because of like.
Yeah,
That's just a clickbaity type thing.
yeah, that was an actual
It's actually
people.
It's actually kind of
doing.
shitty for them to even say. Like,
Yeah, it is.
you know, it's like, oh, it like paints a picture of their death, especially if it has nothing to do with their death.
Yeah, right. It's a little brutal. And we're talking about it, so we're shitty too.
No, we're finding out about it and talking about how it is shitty.
Okay. Well, it's all
different.
shitty. We
Yeah.
wouldn't know about it. I mean, we wouldn't say anything about mummification if they hadn't mentioned it. But we want to know the details. I mean, that's kind of like when a celebrity dies, we want to know about why and how they died. We don't know why and how they died. But clearly, it was something they both imbibed, or was something that happened
assume
to both of them.
Well,
If
that's the thing too. Is like, so why do we care? Well, one, there's just the fascination of it, right?
Right.
But also because we while we don't personally know either one, we have a connection to them. We do care about. I liked Gene Hackman.
Yeah,
You know, I don't want
too.
him to be dead.
I don't. And
And
I
that
don't
is
want to.
bizarre.
I don't want to presume that he died from some kind of drug overdose or fentanyl.
It's a little strange. I mean, what is it, 85? Is that right?
Yeah.
95. 70
is-
and 25. He's 95 years old?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
he 95
95.
years old?
Yeah. 5 years from being not alive.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
Yeah.
He just turned
I mean,
95.
it's weird that both of them died.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
So hold on. He was 95 and his wife's like 65. All
Yeah.
right. Looking it up, Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Still though, man.
Brutal. I wonder
And
if
their dog. Wait, and their dog.
the dog died too.
Oh, this was like carbon monoxide, dude. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like if everything inside the house is
Yeah.
dead,
Yeah.
that's
They-
a gas leak or something.
They needed to have some of those. You can buy some detectors that'll pick up carbon monoxide. You want to put it close to
bet
the
it's-
ground.
I bet it's carbon monoxide.
Because
But it seems like if it had been, because there's tall tale signs like blue fingers and shit,
Sure.
and like you know firefighters roll in and they're like, oh, that's obviously whatever.
right, but they didn't have like stab wounds all over them, or
No.
nobody
No,
stabbed.
they got that sounds like they got poisoned by something
Yeah.
environmental to me. Because
And-
I fucking know what I'm talking about. Apparently.
Yeah, and it was clearly sealed. The air conditioning was on. It was not.
Well, that's actually I used to do radon mitigation.
Yeah.
So radon, you don't know, it's a naturally occurring gas in the earth. And when you dig basements and such, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there's radon there, and radon over time will cause cancer.
Sure.
So what happens is you put in like this little fan and a tube and all this stuff, and it sucks it out. Well, it's become a much worse thing these days because our houses are better sealed.
Mhm.
And by the same token, these weird gases that might, in the past, not have been a big deal, are much more of a big deal because of that.
Sure.
You know, you're like in a closed. Thankfully, I live in a garage, so it's not quite sealed. Then
You got plenty of room to
Come
breathe.
on. come on,
Breathe the exterior. Good.
that's right, dude. We're
Yeah.
surrounded by trees, though. It's actually like a
Yeah.
pretty nice deal.
I lived in a house in Venice Beach where it wasn't sealed at all. I don't think it had central anything. It didn't have central air.
Yeah.
It didn't have central heat. And there was some kind of hole from where I guess there were bathroom leaks or bathtub leaks that it leaked from where the bathroom was, and you could see the outside, and there was a hole. I think it was like this big between the bathtub area and the outside area
Like in the wall?
and the wall.
That is
Like
not
a
sealed,
rat
Ken.
could just walk through.
Yeah, that is that is
Not
not
sealed.
sealed.
It was
Like when a raccoon can casually slink
Yeah.
into your house. Not
the
sealed.
floor of the room that I was in. It looks like a murder scene. like the floors had like been stained with some kind of red stuff that I presumed like somebody got murdered,
Was
killed
paint.
in the room.
What, did you like duct tape up the hole or something? Or did you just
No, I did nothing.
rock and
I
roll?
wasn't. I
Were
wasn't
you
there.
on
I
meth?
just.
Like,
I mean,
what
I
was
wasn't on.
going-
I wasn't on meth. I was just, you know, not. I didn't have a lot of money, so I just
You
took
could
what
buy duct. I mean, duct tape is kind of expensive, but listen,
I
buddy,
just
you
took
get
what
one of these bag boys. All right, you tape up that hole. all
Yeah,
right?
I just went with it. You know, we didn't. It's not like we shut the doors in the house anyway.
Fair. I mean, you live on a beach, I get it, you know. But like,
Yeah.
you bring girls back, you're like, don't worry about the floor.
It was.
We
It was
paint a lot.
Yeah, it was right across the street from the high school where they shot Grease. It was a nice neighborhood in Venice, California.
Huh.
But
Well-
our house was like the trap house, even though we weren't on meth.
The jury
was
is out on this.
Well, I don't remember being on meth. It was a good time though. We had a good time in that house.
It's a great time. I can't quite remember what happened, but it's
Yeah, there's like
not
an
sure
Indian
how that
food
hole got
place
there.
just around the corner. You know, I would go there and eat a lot
I
of
question
Indian
where did the
food.
hole
Really
come
great.
from? I mean,
I
was
don't-
it like drilled out or was it like fallen out?
I feel like it had fallen out. It was like a mixture between like rats like making a big hole, maybe a possum.
That's
because
fair.
could have
Yeah.
been possum just making a hole to come in so they could use the bathroom. I don't know.
I think that's good for the What the fuck?
What are we talking about?
Are we off? Are we
Yeah,
on?
we're gonna keep like this. This
Oh,
is
yeah, we are.
gold.
We need
but-
we need an on air sign so that I
An
actually
on-air,
know
off-air.
if we're actually on air or not.
Yeah, anybody who watches the whole thing will get this
Just sees us come boom boom boom. Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Well, they'll actually check it out.
if we move
So
it from the Twitch.
so for the Twitch, I think I've sent all the stuff.
Mhm. Oh, you did.
Maybe some duplicates.
So you put
hopefully
it in the
it's gone
Plan
through.
B, like what we do when our guest doesn't show.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
is
Let me use El Baño really quick and grab some water, and then we
All
can
right.
continue. I'll be right back.
okay. What do we do when the guest doesn't show? You can chime in if you have a topic. I think we have a couple of responses that I want to go into. Here shortly. Why does this have to be there? This can just be somewhere else. There we go. Plan B, private. Okay. So we're going to talk about dungeon craft here shortly. If I can pull up the video. And then I think we're done with talking about this stuff. And usually I cut to some music or some kind of other thing, but today, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave you on. You're gonna get the raw. We're gonna post what we recorded onto YouTube, and the in-between bits. Instead of doing music, you're just gonna get the behind the scenes, and this is behind the scenes of our incredibly well thought out show that we do every week, multiple times a week. So we got dungeon craft, looks like we got a couple of dungeon crafts, one on Critical Role, and We're gonna talk some monsters creation. Oh, that looks cool. And we're gonna talk some Monster Hunter. Oh, that's what that was. All right. Love doing things twice. That is not a thing. Oh, Stronghold D&D. Okay, that looks interesting.
All right.
I also want to go over the Forge. I think that was something that we talked about going over that you'd mentioned.
Yep.
And then I think we should respond to a couple of our comments, our YouTube comments.
Oh yeah.
All right. You can we are live. So if you start like
Hell yeah.
saying things, they can hear
People
us
know.
on the Twitch.
Good.
I'll be right back though. I'm going to turn this computer off.
Sweet. I'm doing some stuff real quick. If anybody has any questions, Ken and I are just hanging out, making fun of people, and giving our hot takes on stuff. So if you want us to cover something, absolutely let us know. If you disagree with us, please let us know. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. See what happens. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the dog. Yeah, so it's one of those things with GGP. So we started this podcast to this is the yappy dog. Hopefully you can't hear him. Started this podcast to act as a in addition to the gaming stuff that we were doing. And there for a little bit we were, doing live streams about the live plays and beta tests for games. But we like to change it up. So we got guests on and all this, and we have realized as of late that while our guests have, I'd say 99% been interesting conversations and interviews.
Great. Yeah.
The throughput for people that are doing podcasts, I don't think that sentence makes sense. The people that are doing podcasts, the people that are doing podcasts, it's like people that are public speakers or AI people or crypto bros and that kind of stuff, by and large, or maybe authors. While that's interesting, it's not necessarily the kind of conversations we want to concentrate on. We're interested in creatives and storytellers, and with the bent towards gaming and all the reason that people do those things. The human story, right? That gets into philosophy and psychology. We're trying to sort of rebrand and make this, what's the word? We had an elevator pitch.
Did we?
What is our elevator pitch? Yeah, we got it somewhere.
I don't know. I think I rewrote our YouTube GGPT.
Yeah, it's Ken is a filmmaker and musician. Bill is an actor, author, and programmer. We're gamers. We discuss a wide variety of topics. Geeky, whatever they're geeky about, projects, perspectives. We're interested in meeting creatives and kind of what they're doing, which is kind of the interest in gaming in the first place. What does a game say, and what does playing the game say about the sort of human experience, if you will?
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
Yeah. But when people talk about if they're just promoting stuff, that's just marketing.
Right. Well, if they're promoting an indie game, for instance, I think that's something that we should cover.
That's cool.
because
That's
we
cool.
got the linen tapestry. We might do some games.
Yeah, well,
in
John's
that
awesome. I mean, yeah,
world.
John's completely aberrant in terms of like, you know, he's creating these things on the linen tapestry, and he's just a wholesome, like, ethical dude
Yeah.
who's also like, hey, I have this stuff and I want it to be excellent and good. You know, there's an ideology behind it versus W3 Web 3.0 bullshit, where it's like really they're just trying to get rich.
Yeah, right. And you see how it's going for these guys as a lot of these Bitcoin markets are tanking.
But I don't know. Apparently, the meme coin business is like, if you actually have your shit set up to exploit meme coins, then, and if you're the person setting up the meme coin, you're probably going to make a couple $1 million.
Yeah, if you get people to buy into your coin and then like
Rug pull?
take the money, yeah, sure.
CoffeeZilla talks a whole lot about this stuff.
Sure.
I want to say there's a Trump coin, a Melania coin. I don't know how they're doing. I want to say there's definitely the Hawk Tua coin.
Yeah.
Which that Haley, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not regulated. So
Sure.
is anything going to happen to these people? Like, should something happen to them?
I think something happened to her. I can't remember. I mean, we talk about a lot of things on here, but I think we covered that in depth and rather well in the past. But because it's not in front of me, I have no idea. But yeah,
well, it's one of those things. It's an ongoing story. Like, you know,
did she go to jail? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think so. And honestly, it's probably not totally her fault. I mean, she benefited from it, right? So it doesn't matter. But it's more like accomplice, really. Like, she herself is not the person that made the coin, right? Like, she benefited from it, but from what I've read and watched, it's more these sort of other players that were doing the underhanded stuff. And maybe she was aware, maybe she wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, she ruined her, I don't know, internet vibe. I think she still has one of the bigger podcasts. I don't know how it's doing.
Well, I mean, if she had any podcast, I bet they get just as many views, if not more, than we do.
Oh, I mean, her podcast is blowing up.
Yeah, I'm sure it's blowing up.
You know,
it looks like she was arrested. Maybe.
Oh shit!
None of these. But she's definitely like, how do I get to the bottom of this shit?
But her podcast is I mean, it's all based off this meme, this viral meme that she did.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if someone's entire credibility be destroyed after doing something like this. Yeah, probably. I'd say so. Like if you're gonna screw a bunch of people over, even if you're an accomplice, like at the very least, come clean. Maybe that's the worst advice ever. Never come clean.
Yeah, never.
If you're gonna screw people, never come clean.
the answer is shut the fuck up.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
Just never come clean.
You always have your lawyer talk. That's the answer. Just in case you were, just shut the fuck up. Let your lawyer talk. That's the answer. If you're in this situation, you don't tell them how your day was. Just shut the fuck up.
That is awesome.
All right. I'm not recording, but we are live.
Oh,
and
good.
That was a gnarly. That was a gnarly drink of bourbon.
Oh, what did you drink?
Well, I think if there's some coffee.
Are you doing
bottom,
Evan Williams again?
Yeah.
Oh.
If
You're
there's
doing
some
Evan Williams
coffee-
again? Told you
If there's some coffee at the bottom, and it
You
mixes a
put
little
it in
bit.
Bourbon glass, man.
But this is my kitty wizard hat.
Fair.
Or cup. I feel
Yeah, but why are
like
you-
kitty wizard is super cool.
Kitty Wizard is once the bourbon. Yeah, sometimes I'll put like water in my cup and forget there's bourbon in it.
Yeah. and it
that sucks.
becomes very watered down bourbon.
Yeah, it sucks.
All right,
That's
let's start. Let's start with it's not looking good for D&D 2024.
Yeah, we'll have to. I haven't watched this video.
Well,
so we'll have to listen to it.
do a stream watch.
Yeah, so a watch party. Let's do
A
it.
little watch party.
D&D.
We'll call this
Do some D&D.
Dungeon Craft watch party is what this is. All right, I'm gonna record
Do it.
now. Hey, this is Ken and Bill's over there.
Yeah, I'm here.
This is a Geeky Gamer podcast. We're doing a little watch party with Dungeon Craft.
Dungeon Craft, Professor Dungeon Master.
Should we
Throwing some shade at D&D.
yeah, should we discuss the video first or just kind of let him
Let's let him well, we want to watch it, but Dungeon Craft has they cover a lot of D&D stuff. And yeah, this is just part of the deal. It says, now I'm looking at the title, it says it's not looking so good for D&D 2024. It's actually, when was that video uploaded?
So this was uploaded 3 days ago, and it's got 100,000 views. And
well, yeah, he's very popular.
This is where he analyzes the latest Hasbro earnings report. And so it sounds like they're not making money.
Oh, it's taxes. Okay, so 2024. Yeah, well, he covered a whole lot of the OpenGL, so the Open Gaming License, and he was already getting popular, but got very popular over that. His main channel is all about building minis and all things gaming related. He has his own. I don't need to promo Professor Dungeon Master. He didn't promo me, nor did he want to review my book. So,
but we still like to talk about him and advertise him and tell you all about him.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. We're a bunch of nobodies, but Dreadlore, the Dreadlore book. That's right. This one.
Oh, yeah.
This one right here.
The little pitch for Dreadlore.
That's right, little pitch for Dreadlore. You go to dreadlore.com. You can find this book. Look at this book. Look at this book. He didn't want to read it. And it ticks me off.
He did want to read it, but he just didn't want to lose.
He gets inundated with a lot of everyone's making their own game. I get it.
He didn't want to lose subscribers.
At the same time, it's like it's the same problem of sucking this Hasbro malarkey. Like they don't need more. The indie creators do. And to be like, well, let me look at your Instagram. You have 300 followers, so fuck you. Like, really? Like, throw it a bone, man.
There are videos about like throwing people like us, getting us millions of views, that it may ultimately tank us because if a famous person gives us a bunch of exposure, like their audience isn't going to be the same as our potential audience. And so, I mean, I don't necessarily buy that argument, but that's why people are saying that they don't do it. Anyway, I don't care.
I just want people to know what we're doing.
Yeah, let's talk about why D&D is not looking good in 2024.
Let's do it.
I think there's like a 20-second intro that I'm gonna bypass, maybe.
Please do.
And then we'll start.
Talking to that guy.
But I can't hear it for some reason.
Nope. Is it muted?
It isn't. We should be able to hear it.
Nope. Hasbro stock soars as toy maker cuts costs, reveals new game plan.
Well, that's kind of the thing for corporate stuff. Oh, I know why. I'll start it. I'll start it over again. There we go.
Yeah. That music was like boom, 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 boom.
Stock jumped this
I had
week
some of
after
mine.
cutting costs and unveiling a new game plan. But are there troubling signs for the Dungeons & Dragons brand? We analyze Hasbro's latest earnings and explain why things might be getting worse for D&D. Today,
Day.
I'm Professor DM, and this channel is about all things tabletop role-playing games. Deathbringer, tell them what they should do.
Like, subscribe, bell, comment, newsletter, Facebook, X.
Hasbro
Live
reported
stream.
earnings Thursday, and the stock went higher. But the earnings report curiously didn't mention D&D. You know, the version that we've been told is the best-selling D&D product of all time? It's nowhere to be found, which is pretty sus. Before we begin, I'm going to preemptively answer one of the most asked questions in the comments of this video. Professor Dungeon Master, why do you just do WotC clickbait? You used to have a good channel that did campaign diaries, but you don't do those anymore.
Because he wants the
Actually,
money,
I
dog.
do. I just did them. Where are you? I just did one called Make It Epic. Here's the thumbnail. Do you know how
Oh
long
yeah,
it
this
takes
is
to
he
build a
always has
scenery
the
from
same
3D
shtick
shots?
at the
Why
beginning
aren't
of all
you
of his.
watching
So I didn't
Also
skip
put
far
in
enough
producing
into the.
Yeah, skip
in
that.
2024. Investors also signaled they are optimistic about the toy maker's latest game plan, which includes an emphasis on digital gaming and creating more products for adults and teens. The new strategy is called Playing to Win. Chris Cox, the CEO, says they're going to be focusing on fans 13 and up, driving digital growth both in gaming and direct-to-consumer e-commerce. Licensing partnerships are the rocket fuel that will help Hasbro's iconic brands go supersonic. Let's look at the report itself. This is the fourth quarter 2024 highlights. Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming segment declined 7% due to the lap of Lord of the Rings holiday set, and consumer products declined 1%. So earlier this year, WotC said that the Player's Handbook was the, quote, best-selling D&D product ever. Notice they didn't say the best-selling D&D book, nor did they say how it compared to, say, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Wizards of the Coast has three branches. We've got Magic, Digital, and D&D. They mentioned Magic sales had gone down 1%. They mentioned digital sales were up 22%. No mention of D&D at all. Now, just last month, Jess Lanzillo, the VP of D&D franchise and
She looks
product,
trustworthy.
D&D Beyond had 19 million subs, and 3.6 million characters had been created. It sounds
She
odd
looks
to me. If they have
devious
20
as
million
shit, dude.
subs, they should have 50 million characters. Even I have created a character on D&D Beyond. What about the
I haven't.
character goblins? You know, the players that make 5 or 6 characters but don't actually play them? That 3.6 number really seems low to me. So I'm not saying they didn't sell. I'm saying if they sold really well,
Yeah,
they'd be
well,
bragging about it.
what-
I posted that comment last night on X,
wait.
and Mike Merles,
You
the
gotta
former
pause him.
lead designer
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna
the
pause it. I
edition,
just-
liked it. And if anyone
I got to
has
pick the right
insight into
button to
D&D,
pause it. All right, there we go. Good place, I guess, as any. I think that it seems like the start of any, and I'm gonna get political because that's what I do.
Get political.
Whenever the Republicans control Congress, the Senate, the presidency, these larger corporations, they'll fire a bunch of people, and that's kind of what's going on right now. It's not just in gaming, but it's part of gaming. What happens is that they have less overhead, and it makes their stock actually rise, and it helps their investors make money, and the owners make money. So even if they had a very profitable past, taxes will likely go down for these corporations, and basically cutting the fat is what they're doing, whether or not it's needed. I don't know, but it's just a way to make profits.
There's a way. It's called prevarication in a lot of ways, right? So it's telling the truth but not the whole truth. It's a form of deception. Like if I cut my losses, right, the people that work for me, then I can say, oh, I have more money, and if I can show that through whatever statistics that I have more money now, and that it looks like I'm growing in a way, then it's going to make my stock look more appealing to buy. And I'm giving less money away to employees in those investments. I'm recouping that money, right, that I would have spent. And hopefully people actually buy my stock, so my stock goes up. So it's a win-win. And it looks very good.
It's great on paper.
Cheers.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about this?
Yeah, I do have thoughts about D&D, and I disagree with not particularly this video, but with Professor DM's uh, a little bit of his shtick. You know, he's called Professor Dungeon Master, Professor DM. Dungeon Master is a trademark for D&D. So in his videos, he's got this idea of, oh, I'm not just all about D&D, and that's true, but he's literally calling himself Professor DM. Like, he is absolutely associating himself with D&D and Hasbro content. And he's not hiding this. He's not being totally deceptive about it. He's got videos talking about why does he cover D&D when everybody else is? It's because it brings in views. It brings in revenue when you get down to it. People will watch D&D content. They won't watch as much the more creative type content. So that's also why it's clickbaity. It's a good business move.
Sure.
At the same time,
yeah.
Go on.
Well, I think one of his next points in this video was to talk about how the pandemic had really added a lot of players and a lot of interest in D&D. But I think it was kind of going before then. But now that we're all out in the world and doing things, role-playing games have started to slide a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I mean, COVID, a lot of people made their careers over COVID. You know, it changed the game, right? I'm not saying they profiteered from, a pandemic. I think it could be looked like that, but I don't think that's it. It's the game changed and it opened up different avenues for people. My issue with Hasbro is, and I think even Professor DM says this, they're a corporation. And so beloved D&D, I don't consider D&D beloved. I don't see why people do. Like if you're talking about AD&D, second ed 2.5, even 3.5, 3.0, this is WotC, and WotC was then bought by Hasbro. Or the old school stuff, it's not what's going on now. Hasbro is making decisions with D&D to make money. And I was just on a soapbox with one of my buddies about it. He was super excited about going and gaming with this new group and this stuff. And I was like, oh, what system are you playing? Oh, the new D&D or 5th edition or something. I was like, why are you guys playing 5th ed? Oh, because No, I don't know. Specifically the rules. Why are you using those rules? They're not good rules for storytelling. Use the setting till the cows come home. It's essentially just Lord of the Rings anyway. Use that, right? This wonderful world of Oz. Use it all day long, but use a system that's really good for storytelling. And every time I talk about this, people are like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And it's just pouring money into Hasbro, and it's not that great of a system. It's just not. Just not.
And I think the other issue is that they were talking back. I know a little bit about this. They were talking backwards compatibility, but if you go to Dungeons and Dragons, what is it, D&D Beyond or whatever,
D&D
where you
Beyond,
create characters, that a lot of the old systems are getting deleted from that category.
They're not profitable, it's not about a good game.
And so
it's about something flashy.
Right.
Go on, sir.
Well, it's not backwards compatible. It's a new thing. It's kind of what this guy.
It's tapping into. It's putting the finger on the pulse of what do people want right now. It's a product. There's nothing wrong with that. People want fast, boom, boom, boom. It's a lot of gender politics is in it, and it's flavored with that, which is fine. People want that. When you look at the artwork is good, but everything is mildly just fluid. You can't quite tell, like the archetypes are such. Mm-hmm. And that is very appealing to not the old school neckbeard bro guys, but it's going for diversity, which is a good thing, right? It's getting people involved. That's awesome. But all of that is marketing and politics, and I think do that till the cows come home. But at some point, also look at the system and be like, is it a good system, or is it just riding this wave of popularity? And I think some people would say, "Oh, D&D 5th edition is the best system ever." Well, they're wrong. Like, objectively, they're wrong. And when I talk to them about it, about rules and actual mechanics in the system, they say things like, "No. I mean, it's perfect. You open the PHB, you just make a character. It's right there. It's so fun." I'm like, yeah, but look at the rules. Get away from the fluff of you're an elf in a forest and it's magic. Get away from that, because that's not the system. The rules of the system. Oh, it's very, very well balanced. You mean all the characters exactly the same? I just shoot magic missiles and you hit with a sword. Just numbers. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Okay, I got two things. One thing, I'm gonna stop recording.
Do it.
Because we're no longer streaming to Twitch for some reason. It like
it died.
we're still streaming to YouTube. But I might have to change my stream settings. I don't know what happened. If it's OBS that just like decided.
Yeah, I think it just shat out on you.
Shat a brick. But we got some viewers happening on YouTube. Unfortunately, I think if I change anything here, do you think the stream key got updated for some reason?
Mm-mm.
Just OBS, just like
I doubt highly.
decided. It's like I'm done with this shit. Because I wanted to talk about. I guess I think that they're not getting new players, and that is the issue. And capitalism basically has this infinite growth cycle that if you're staying with the same amount of people and not getting new players, then you're a failure. There's no such thing as just being successful.
Yeah. Well, I see what you're saying. Are you using Restream?
No, I'm using multiple computers to stream. Unfortunately, folks, I think I'm going to have to quit OBS because OBS is
Yeah, let's drop out of that.
All right.
Pop it.
And then
Pop it back in.
I'm going to stop the stream and we'll GP. And this episode, we're trying to figure out like what we're doing, what our names and what our names are. Hot takes. And I think we should have a conversation about Hasbro and success. Companies fire people even if they're making a profit, or if they're not getting new revenue, new sources of income. That's a failure.
Agreed.
I think we should see where Dr. Dungeoncraft is going for this moment. So let's chime in to back to where he is.
Big picture, TTRPGs are growing as far as I can tell. I think we're entering an era where D&D is no longer the dominant cultural force in TTRPGs. Is there anecdotal evidence to support this? I think yes. Here's the latest video from Dungeon Dudes. We're not switching to the 2024 rules. Here's why. The dudes are sticking with the old rules until they finish their campaign, and they speculate others may be doing the same. They also point out others may be waiting for all 3 books to come out before they switch over entirely. And the core rulebooks cost $300. As Merles points out, Wizards hasn't really made a compelling case about why you need to switch over to these new rules. I'm not saying the game is a bomb. I'm saying players seem to be slow to adopt the new.
I do
Hold
think
on,
it's fair. I think,
$300.
yeah, I think it's fair to finish your old campaign as well. Like you know, switching. You don't switch horses mid race.
Mid-stride.
Yeah.
What the fuck? $300. If there's 3 books, there's usually 3 books for D&D. There's a player's handbook, so the PHB, the Dungeon Master's Guide, the DMG, and the Monster Manual, which is just called the Monster Manual, not the MM. They're saying it's $100 a book? What the fuck? Like, that is amazing. There's no way.
It's gone up in price. It looks like. I mean, if that's the case, I'm gonna go to
the
their
PHP is $60. Motherfuckers. My book is $65, $65 depending on where you get it. And people balk at that. They're like, oh my God, so expensive. You're telling me that D&D, fucking Hasbro, is selling their shit for $60 fucking dollars? Bullshit.
I'm looking for those are
the PDFs versions.
Oh, so it's
Those are the
it's
digital
like
things.
$15-$30 for a PDF.
They're trying to push you to their online platform and make D&D all digital.
Uh-huh.
And it's the ease of you always have your character sheets, and you can use their platform. They have like a digital map, and you can integrate it into like gaming tables and all that kind of stuff. And that is actually quite cool. But they're also pushing for this video game aspect to D&D. It wouldn't surprise me if you have an AI DM at some point, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's kind of where it's going. I see people playing single player online games with chatbots or whatever, and I think that's kind of
like people won't read the book. Like, I don't know a single person, not one, who learned D&D because they read the book. Not one. None. They sit down at a table and they learn like people do every other game. You find people that know how to play poker and they teach you. Same difference with D&D. And so then they get into the books and they start going through the PHP and they start going through the DMG if they want to like actually learn how to run. But now you have this online interface, and it takes, I mean, like learning the interface itself, there's tons of time investment. And yet, people will not open up an indie RPG book and take the time to just read the meat section of the system.
Yeah, I could see. So if you get the physical rule book bundle, it's $150, and if you get the digital and physical rulebook bundle, it's $170, and then you need to have. I don't see the $300, but
it must be like a set that you can buy. $300 is insane.
Everything.
I do find it interesting that
they're all 10 books.
Their rule book. That's 5th edition right there.
Yeah.
If you go up. Yeah,
going
that's
back in time. Yeah, it's 2014.
Okay, so the PHP is $30, but that's digital.
Yeah.
The bundle. Whoa, go back, motherfucker.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So the physical core rulebook bundle is $150, $160. So that's all 3.
Yeah.
So $50 a piece if you buy them all together.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
And
I mean, I know it costs, but
I do like the idea of having a PDF of it. I actually have, I do have copies that I guess are now useless of the old version 5e. Is that what this is?
Bring it closer. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's 5th edition.
I have 5th edition copies of the Player's Handbook and the.
I think that's 5th. Yeah, that's 5th edition.
Monster
It's been a
Manual.
while since
I guess I
played.
bought them at a time that, I was thinking, oh, I didn't know anything. And this is 2020.
So this is
and I was
literally
thinking about running a campaign.
So this is literally the issue. So back in the day when third edition came out, so you had AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s. Third edition in the 90s comes out, and everybody buys the books. I want to say, I don't want to speak a falsehood here, but the amount of time between third edition and 3.5 was very short. And while they are technically, like, you could use third edition rules for 3.5, sometimes it doesn't work. There's fundamental changes that occurred. And so WotC put out all the 3.5 books. So if you bought those third edition books, the core set, they're almost useless. And everyone was like, we got hoodwinked. We just dropped $100 because it's about $35 at the time, $40 a piece. $150 for useless books. Then boom, they come out with fourth edition. It's been it took a little bit of time. They came out with fourth ed and people were like, oh, buy all the books. Then they dropped it like a bad habit. Oh, yeah. Fifth edition. So it's not a new thing at all for Hasbro to be like, or just D&D, to be like, oh, here's the new version. Everybody buy the new version. And then they drop it like a bad habit.
I thought people hated the fourth edition. I thought that was
we really
the
don't talk
one.
about it. There's like three people in the world that really love fourth edition.
Right.
Mildra talks about I'm going to call out Mildra on this. He and I we conflict on this one topic that fourth edition's a good game, and I'm like, all right, objectively, perhaps it is a good game. Is it a good TTRPG? No. I don't think so. Mildred, we can get him back on here, and he can tell me that I'm wrong. Because Mildred does know a lot more than I do about all of this stuff. But, I mean, I played 4th Ed, and I was like, this sucks. It feels like hero clicks. In the back of the book, there's a way of having a game without a dungeon master. And I was like, what? No DM. People are like, oh, yeah, why aren't you open to that? Because it's the reason I like the game, right? The reason that I enjoy tabletop role-playing games is because you have your players and you have a GM. And the dynamic between them is very interesting. When you take out the GM, you're changing fundamentally the game. It's a different game, one that I'm not that interested in. That's why. Touted as, oh, this is the new version. I'm just going to keep ranting, Ken.
Good.
Anyway,
all right.
That's pretty much what we got there.
I'm going to hit the stop recording button.
Do it.
What do you want to do next? I got we got this give it a take. Alexandra, you said that at one point in time you wanted to go over Exandria Unlimited.
Yeah.
Do you want to go there? Or you want to come back to that? I also have a watch party for Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't know anything about that. Secrets you missed, and stuff that's likely to return.
Well, I don't know anything about Monster Hunter. Oh no, that's something that I saw. It's video game stuff.
Yeah.
I think we could do that pretty quickly.
You want to go for the Monster Hunter Wilds?
Yeah, and then we can talk about Exandria. I think it's perfectly fine, but we'll talk about it.
All right. I'm gonna hit record and we'll go for it.
Hit it.
Hey, this is Ken, and over there is Bill.
Yeah, it is.
We're gonna talk
Hi.
about something called Monster Hunter Wilds. It's a new
I don't know how
video
new
game.
it is.
Or it is a video game. It's new
a
to
video
me.
It looked like Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. And I was like, that's cool. And then I looked at it and was like, wait, what?
Let's do a watch party. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
A party. I'm going to drink some.
Today we're back to update the monster list for February after the 7th trailer, the launch trailer, as well as the Japanese version, which had different clips and a different monster revealed during it, alongside a few updates to the small monster list.
I
So
like that
let's
there's
run
a
through it.
chicken.
Starting with the new reveals for the large monsters with this guy. Blan Gonga is back. This was randomly revealed thanks to the Japanese version of the launch trailer, where they were using a couple different clips, one of which included a monster not yet revealed, Blan Gonga, as well as the pack itself.
I'm gonna pause it on this guy. What is this? Is this like a polar bear walrus chicken? He's got like some feathers around his neck and like he's got the walrus deals, the tusks.
So it looks like one of those games. There was a game where I mean, it's a fighting game where you fight Daikaiju. Apparently,
Kind of one-on-one.
yeah, that's what it looks like to me. I mean, I think it's probably more of an open worldy type thing because I don't see hit point bars or whatever.
Yeah.
That looks extremely boring to me. But then again,
Well,
I'm not really a video game guy.
It is the first 3 seconds. It is 3 seconds of this moment that this YouTuber has decided to Rage Gaming videos has decided to play over and over again. I feel like we should.
I mean, it's cool cinematics, but it's kind of the same thing over and over. It's like boss fight after boss fight. You play like Dark Souls or whatever the hell game you want. Wolfenstein for us, and you roll in and there's the boss. This looks like a bunch of boss fights.
Okay, so
There
that's
was
like
this
a dragon.
old game. There's this old game. I love this game so much. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was essentially like super dark Legend of Zelda, and you were this guy going through this fantasy place, and there were these titans, and you had to wake up the titans, fight them, and kill them. Figure out how to kill them, and it was all to save the girl who's dying, who you love. But it was so cool, the world you would go through, and you would have to like climb up these just colossal beings, and the cinematics were really, really cool. Can't remember the name of it. It wasn't Attack on Titan. That's like an anime. This kind of reminds me of it. It's just more of that dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. Like you're fighting, which I'm not interested in. There's Mildra.
No, I was just trying to find this page again so I could go back to it. Yeah, I mean it's got
What's
some neat
multiplayer?
graphics, multiplayer, lots of special effects.
Team multiplayer, and you're basically playing like boss fight Dark Souls with your friends.
As I get older, this is a big thing for me. I don't like action sequences and movies anymore.
Yeah.
If it's an action sequence, it's like the plot gets put on pause. And I want an action movie where they just cut to like 2 or 3 quick shots of an action sequence, save a lot of money, for instance. And then you get to the part where they're talking about the next thing they're going to do, or like the ramifications of what they just did. So yeah, I'm not super concerned about, any of this stuff. This is outside because we're tabletop role playing people, so we want to be able to participate and act in an environment where we can change the fiction. The fiction is set in these worlds, and there is plot, but we can't get mad at our allies and make them enemies. Or maybe there are some games that you can do that in, but you can't change the fiction. There's pretty much a choose your own adventure, and in that adventure you've got a handful of adventures, and that's it. You're not in an infinite world that
and that's exactly it. It's you're on rails, you know exactly what to do. You mash buttons, you win. And when I see people play these games, they look bored. Like they see the cinematic and they're like, yeah, cool. And it's almost like this grind, like they're like click, 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 and they're just kind of like sitting there like this. And if they don't do the right sequence, they're like, oh, restart, boop, 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 oh, restart. But that's the game. That's what they're interested in. When you translate that into tabletop role-playing games, into the story is spoon-fed, and that's kind of what they expect. And then they wait for the fight, where they can go, cool, roll, attack with numbers, spoon-feed story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of their mentality of what a role-playing game is.
Well, it's definitely like work. It's just like if I'm in front of a computer and I feel like I'm at work. When I'm here, this is fun for me, but it's still kind of like work.
It's still kind of like work.
Because the computer, like, I'm not on a hike somewhere. I'm not rafting down a river. I'm not on a walk. There's a certain amount of stress involved. Like, I'm not stressed out in being here with you because we are friends having a conversation. But if I'm trying to battle an enemy in a role-playing game, Call of Duty, Monster Hunter Wilds, I feel like I'm at work. And if I fail or die, I get that same kind of like negative impact.
Damn it feeling. Yeah.
Feeling.
Yeah.
That's why you throw the controller.
Right.
Just
Dude,
like
in old Nintendo controllers, you could throw.
Yeah.
They were like little bricks. You'd be like, and it would bounce.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's what you want.
You can't throw a
That's what you
PlayStation
want.
controller, can you? Like a not the same. I mean, you could toss it. You could just give it a.
You could wing it.
But you want to wing it into something soft. That's why these things are here, so I can throw stuff into it, and it typically doesn't break.
But like Nintendo controllers, dude, you can't break them.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
They're
They
awesome.
are awesome, and attached to a cord, so they're not gonna go too far.
They can't go anywhere.
They're hooked in there tight.
Yeah, dude, like chunk done. Where's your mouse? You can break this. I can attest. You can break the mouse.
All right.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna and scene.
And scene.
I think we should talk about some of our comments. I think we should have.
Oh yeah, let's hit the comments and then we can wrap up.
All right.
Because I need to go outside before it gets dark.
Do you want to do the Exandria Unlimited?
I say we do it next time. We do him next time.
Save that.
Because that's going to be hanging out.
All right.
Yeah, I need to get food and get outside. I'm getting stir crazy.
No, I get it. All right. Let's see if I can. There are two comments that I want to cover.
Stop sign and a go sign.
Yeah.
You can be like, and then like a hold.
All right.
Stop.
Now we got some likes on this. Okay. Where the fuck am I?
Are we doing a hot take about our episode?
Yeah. We are doing a hot take. This is Ken and that's Bill. We're doing a hot take about our own fucking episode. So and on Dr. Dungeoncraft as well. So this is the episode. I'm gonna let this play in the background. I was wearing different clothing. I think William might be wearing
exactly the same thing.
Same clothing, which is great. But we got a comment. We got some likes on this episode. I think that was pretty cool. It was orcs, worms, balrogs, and authority. And as if I remember a little bit about what was commented, we might or might not have talked about some lore.
Someone was pissed.
I don't know if they were pissed. I don't think they were pissed.
Critical. They were critical about our low Tor lore.
I think it's important to be critical, especially when you believe something and that something is wrong. So we were cringe. I think our default is a little cringe because we're two middle-aged white dudes. So So I think our default is cringe. But
that's who we are.
The comment is from Spacer X. Tolkien fans are cringing, so listening to all of the details you got wrong. But apparently we had some good points about D&D. Well, we as in you had good points about D&D because you're an expert. to respond to this, I'm not an expert on Tolkien. I like it. I'm a fan. But I like the Rings of Power for all the wrong reasons. And it's because I liked Xena, Warrior Princess, when I was a kid. You know.
Was
So
Lucy
what-
Lawless and
Lawless, yeah.
Xena? She's in Rings of Power?
No. I like it because it doesn't. It's
campy.
It's
Well-
not. It's not even that it's campy. I like it because it's fantasy. I like it because it's in a world where
But Xena's
and
good,
this is not,
and Rings of
this-
Power isn't.
Yeah, but this is not what they said. They were talking about the accuracy, I presume, of our discussion of Tolkien.
Of Tolkien, yeah, like the actual lore. Well, we were talking
specifically.
about like Fingolfin and Gil-galad and the different names, and we
Yeah.
couldn't get the. We were talking about the Vala and their
Yeah.
names and which
Yeah.
one was which, and I had this whole spiel about Morgoth and Melkor. I should say Melkor, and how he was the most powerful, and went into Arda and dominations. Pretty deep lore of Tolkien, which I probably was wrong in a lot of.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, wrong or right. I think the
They
way
should have
we
given us examples. is the
we're
thing.
doing hot takes.
Like,
We were doing hot takes
Yeah.
then. We're doing hot takes now. I mean, we don't
Like-
have anything. Yeah.
I invited him to the stream to correct shit because I was like,
Right.
look, if we're wrong about something, don't just be like, you guys are wrong. You're wrong. Okay, go to hell. Like, tell us what we're wrong about. Tell
We
me
didn't-
what I am wrong about.
He didn't say wrong. He said cringe. So I think we were cringe because, like, we were trying to figure it out. Like, we didn't know the details, so we were working through it, maybe a little bit, and like we didn't just
That's an
know
interesting thing. That's an interesting way of looking at it.
the
Yeah.
answer.
Okay, well, maybe what does it mean to be like cringe? Cringeworthy is like, guys, you're doing the thing that you shouldn't do. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't be talking about something that you don't know anything about. And I think my response.
Yeah, we do know about it. We just don't know the specific fucking biblical names.
Yeah.
We get the main idea.
Well, certainly we get the themes of Tolkien. But
Having an opinion on. Go on. Sorry.
This is where I think I kind of come out is that I like the idea of watching a fantasy show that's a roller coaster. It doesn't have to be right. And the acting wasn't great. The stories
Talking about Rings of
weren't
Power?
great. Yeah, they certainly weren't Tolkien. But, any time that you get people dressed up with the little uniforms and, there's some bad dudes and some, like, hobbits weren't even in. Like, the hobbits weren't even in the fucking Silmarillion or whatever, what we were talking
Silmarillion.
about. Similar, I can't even say it.
Harfoots
But
is what they're
the
called.
hobbits weren't even that was not even a consideration. They weren't around at that point in time. So, like, yeah, the Rings of Power doesn't do any justice to actual Tolkien's work. It's its own thing where they make up some shit. And
My issue with Rings of Power is it's bad. Like, whether or not it's stuck with the books is one thing. I mean, the Lord of the Rings trilogy doesn't stick with the books. Like, they change a whole lot. They adapt it to film, and they change plenty of the story. Aragorn is completely different in the books than he is in the movies.
Sure.
Just as an example, there's plenty of other stuff, and there's YouTube videos galore about this.
yeah, for sure.
My problem with Rings of Power is, one, it fundamentally changes characters in the past that then later on in the movies are like Galadriel.
Yeah,
That's not Galadriel.
She's a different.
She's a different
just think of-
character.
yeah, she's a different character
Sauron
with a
in this.
different.
Sauron, different character.
Different character.
Like
Yeah,
it's
there's-
one
there's-
thing it's one thing to adapt a book and say, hey, look, this is our take on it, and then
Right.
they go forward. It's different to be like, hey, I'm going to do a prequel of Star Wars where Darth Vader is a woman.
Right.
I have a
Well,
problem
I mean, it's
with
kind
that.
of like
Darth
it's kind of
not a
like it's
woman.
like a different universe where different thing happens.
Yeah, and
Different
if you're going to
gods,
say that,
different-
that's fine. Hey, this is
Yeah.
a Star Wars story where what if, here you go, cool.
Yeah.
Now let's judge it based on, is the story good? Does it make
Right.
sense? And the answer is no.
Well, the story doesn't
No,
match
it
your
doesn't.
it doesn't match your expectations. But like
No, I'm not even talking about Lord of the Rings. If they
Right.
called Rings of Power something else, if they're like,
Yeah.
this isn't Lord of the Rings, this is just fantasy, whatever,
Yeah.
I would chalk it up to one of the other multitude
Right.
of fantasy shows that's just not very good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about gender politics and all this crap. I'm saying the story
Yeah.
is bad.
But what I'm saying is
Not
that
good.
I think it's like Legend of the Seeker or like Merlin or like some other or Legend of Zelda or Hercules the Legend Continues or something that they've generated, and it's shot well. The visual effects are pretty good. The sound quality's great. The acting is pretty okay in some situations. The story needs improvement. I mean, just from a basic but I'm letting a lot of things go because I like the
Why?
idea
Why?
that we're in an
Why?
adventure story.
This is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
People are like, it's one thing to be like, hey, so they made it and that's cool.
Mhm.
And so let's give it the benefit of that. But why? Amazon made this.
Yeah.
They shelled out so much money. Your money, if you
Yeah.
have Amazon Prime, your money, it's your money. So much money. They should just put this up. Just keep on like throwing it into the fire. Why? Well, socio-political reasons. That's why. But why? Why give this the time of day? It's not good.
It's IP. They're changing the narrative. They've got people signing up, and and I'll tell you this: Americans dumb. Just saying, they don't care about some shit that nerds do care. Like if you're geeky about something, you're geeky about it.
You're gonna get mad.
Americans
That's pretty
don't.
much what you're saying.
They don't
It's
care.
not just Americans. I mean, listen, American
Well,
TV
I'm
is
just
top-notch.
saying-
You go anywhere
yeah.
else in the world and it's shit. Okay.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
I mean, that's what we're known
name
for, is
anywhere else.
making
Name
production.
another television show. Okay. I'm sure that actually does exist. But name a television show that is not camp or melodrama. Okay. That is actually good. That you would actually sit there and be like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. Surely there's something British that's actually like solid.
We're watching White Lotus for all the sardonic reasons that you watch a thing.
I don't think I haven't heard of it. What is it?
It's a bleak look at rich people in fantastic places who
Who made it?
like basically eat themselves. I think it is. Oh shit! I don't know. HBO maybe.
So is it American?
Yeah, it's American. You're talking about from another country. I like a lot of stuff out of the BBC.
Some British stuff. I know. Surely, because we're ignorant of this stuff, right?
And then-
like, shows that are going on in Korea. I'm sure there's some awesome shows in Korea. Sure.
They didn't make Rings of Power in America. They made it outside of America. They could make it here,
Right.
but it would cost too much to make it here.
Right.
So most production, like you say, like, well, they didn't make it in America. Well, it's not really made in America. It's made somewhere else. It's made in Canada.
I'm not talking
it's made,
I'm not talking about the location.
yeah, somewhere
I'm talking
else.
about like
New Zealand?
No, goddammit, I'm talking about the. Wow, that is a twisting of the words. Lord of the fucking Rings was done in New Zealand, asshole.
Yeah,
what I'm
right.
saying is, I'm talking of. I'm gonna throw my mug.
Let's throw some shit. It's been that
It's a
kind of day.
terrible fucking show. The show sucks. It sucks. Like shit happens, and you're like, "What?"
Why?
Now, if you like the show because I'm not saying a person can't like the show.
Sure.
People loved the Star Wars movies. They
Right.
loved some people loved them.
Yeah.
Just fucking sucked that fucking. They loved it. They like shit that's not good.
But I liked it to kill time, watching something with my girlfriend.
Sure.
I didn't like it. It didn't affect me like things that you spend millions
be
of
forgotten.
dollars.
It will be
It's
forgotten.
oh yeah, like what happened in the show? I don't know. There was hobbits. I think there was a wizard. They talked to Tom Bombadil
Speaking
for a
of,
second.
The Hobbit movies. Who fucking talks about the Hobbit movies? Nobody.
Yeah,
You
well,
talk to the actors of the Hobbit movies, they're going to be like, I was
That was a
fucking
movie.
paycheck,
I
guys.
was in it for a minute.
Yeah.
It's great.
There were some elements that were kind of cool, but like, no one is like, oh, dude, did you get the oh shit? No one gives a fuck. No one cares about those movies. Matrix, riveting. No one
Yeah,
talks
but-
about Matrix 3.
Yeah.
Okay, like,
And
It's
why
not a
would you
good
talk
movie.
about Matrix 2? I mean, it was beating a dead horse. I mean, why would you even remake the Matrix when they said, "Oh, we remade the Matrix"? I'm like, why? Why would you do that? I mean,
Whereas you look at the
could-
Animatrix, amazing.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, good storytelling, versus
Yeah, you love that.
bad storytelling. You know, a D&D game, haha, pulling it back in. A D&D game, there's a trope that everybody likes. You know, you go in, you're in the bar, you and swashbuckling, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's playing Jack Sparrow or some sort of gender fluid fairy princess thing that is misunderstood orc with teeth but actually knows. And you go in and kill a bunch of people because they're bad, right? And it's fun. You kick down the door, kill the objectively bad guy, get the jewels, and now you're adventurers.
Yeah.
It's fun. That game is cool. If you want to play that game all the time, do it. Do it till the cows come home. It's fine. Good system? No. Good system for that. Not a good system for horror or something, dynamic story, or I'm sorry, dynamic characters. It's not good for that. I think people can do it with that system. I've been in several D&D games that there's people literally, like, a character dies and people are literally in tears. You know, impact-worthy stuff. But you're constantly working against it. Can someone watch Rings of Power and feel something? Yeah, of course. Can they gain something from it? Yeah, of course. That didn't make it good.
No. You know what's good about it is that they do good color correction. They cast pretty
Apparently,
people.
it's beautiful.
It's
Apparently it's
except for like the last season at the end, the battle sequence was like, you guys
Really?
are cutting corners. Oh yeah, I mean it was brutal.
Really?
As a visual
I didn't know
effects
that.
artist, I was kind of like,
So they
guys,
ended it on a.
I can kind of tell like you're phoning it in a little bit here. I mean, it was like the last couple episodes were like, okay, you're not, and you're right. The story kind of lost me. Am I gonna watch the next season? Probably not, because I care if it
It's there.
relates to. It's just like there's only so many things that I watch.
If you're on a
And-
flight to Thailand and it's like 16 hours and you're like, you know
Yeah.
what, fuck it.
But am I gonna
Oh,
watch it
it's
by myself?
an
No,
episode.
I won't watch it by myself. I'll watch it because my girl likes it, or I'll watch it because like I'm around other
And it's
people
got
that like it.
elves and dramatic moments, and it's second screen worthy. So we could be having. I mean, I've been watching it on my phone this whole time. Don't skip a beat. There it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, doesn't matter. But yeah, are we cringe? Yeah, we're 1,000% cringe, and we're always going to be cringe. I think that's why you watch us. Is because
If you're gonna comment that we're cringe, you gotta tell us.
you gotta
Give
dial it
me
back
a
in.
time code. Give me a
Yeah.
time code, or be like, hey, this is one. Give me an example of what. Did I mispronounce Monway?
Yeah.
You know
Because-
what?
Yeah. If he didn't make you cringe, I'm gonna make you cringe, and if I don't make you cringe, he will.
Okay, I'm just gonna look it up. Okay, why is Melkor considered the most powerful Anor? He was an Anor? I thought he was a Vala.
Yeah.
Oh, Anor
Melkor.
is. I think it's just the
That's the guy that sang poorly. I mean, I sing poorly too, and
No,
nobody
the
seems to
holy
care.
ones. The holy ones. Encompassing both the Valar and the Maiar.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so he was a Valar.
Melkor was
Let's
like
see.
Sauron's big daddy, because I think there were stages. No, they weren't related, but like he was
No.
like one above Sauron. Like Sauron was like the next one down.
No, you have Eru. Now we're gonna be cringe again. Eru
Yeah.
Iluvatar, creator,
Yeah.
and then you have who Eru created.
Yeah,
The Valar.
yeah.
And then a whole bunch of the Ainur and such. Melkor is the mightiest.
But
He's essentially
isn't-
Lucifer.
Yeah, he's the biggest baddie, but he's not like the toughest one because he used all his power to create this other world. Or
Well,
like
the Valar
yeah,
then did the song, and they started,
Yeah.
creating things of their own. And Melkor's purpose was discord. Was the sort of, is it Vishnu? God, this is the same conversation.
well, this is the same conversation, but like Melkor, I think used a ton of his power to
It's
like
not Vishnu.
create Middle
Shiva.
Earth. It's
Shiva, the destroyer. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of.
or not
He-
create
he-
Middle Earth, but just like when he went
Disharmony.
down. Yeah, it was the disharmony, but that's
that's
why
after.
that's why the god Iluvatar,
Eru Iluvatar.
that's why the god said, I'm
Right,
going to
so for
create
example,
this place for
this is-
you. I'm
This
gonna
is
do a new
what someone
song.
says. This is what someone says. So you're confusing power and strength here.
Mhm.
And this is something we talked about before, where it's not, who would win, Sauron, or it's not like that in Tolkien necessarily. So
No.
Maiar are not below Valar. They're the same race. Ainur, Valar means the powers. They're the Ainur who entered Arda, so the earth, and became bound to it, taking physical bodies. They're the Ainur who entered Arda, so the earth. Oh, I was like, did I literally just repeat exactly verbatim?
No, I was just
Holy
switching over
shit.
to. I was just switching over to like I don't know where you're like comment, like you're looking at a comment. I don't know where the comment's coming from.
So
You're
they're
looking-
the same order
yeah,
as the Valar, but of a less degree.
right. But
let's
I always thought
see.
the Valar were like one level, and the Maiar were just like kind of underneath them.
Yeah. So someone says he was the most powerful, but a lot of his power drained out of him as he was shaping things by his own will and not for Iluvatar, creating
Exactly.
the orcs and such, etc. So what I'm trying to say is this is a point of contention that I don't quite understand. I've heard people say on Reddit and whatnot that Melkor was not the most powerful. From what I understand, he
No.
was.
Yeah, but he's not. I don't
But
think
he
he is
was,
because he used
and then
so
he
much of his. He
drained his
was,
power.
and then he like it's like Sauron in the Ring.
But he's still a badass.
And that was the
Still a
Tolkien
badass.
theme. That was the Tolkien thing. It's like your quest for power is what destroys you.
Right, exactly.
It's the theme that Tolkien is. You've got this anytime you like have some kind of desire and use that, it takes from you. And that's why, Sauron would have probably lost to Gandalf in a fight because he just used so much of it. Was a one-on-one kind of fight.
Sauron would have probably been taken out. I'm sorry, Gandalf would have probably been taken out.
I think if nobody had rings, and what would happen is Sauron would reconstitute himself again. I mean, it's just a fight. It's not,
Well, I think that's exactly the idea, though, is that, Gandalf, his purpose wasn't to attack Sauron, and so
Sure.
it's kind of like not what's going to happen,
right.
Also, Sauron was as opposed to the movies where he rolls out in his armor and the mace. That actually isn't Sauron. That's actually Melkor or Morgoth.
Right.
I mean, in the movies, it's Sauron, but Sauron wasn't doing that. That's and even in the movie, this is all outtakes. The scene in the beginning of Lord of the Rings is actually the end scene, and they were supposed to. They couldn't figure out how to show Sauron, and that armor is Melkor. It's based off of Melkor's armor, or Morgoth, I should say. I guess we're being cringe right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally
See, to give order to the world and combat the new evils of Melkor. Let's see. So the Valar were the 14 Ainur who, after being molded of Eru's thought, entered Arda after its creation to give order to the world and combat the new evils of Melkor. They had helped to begin the shaping of Arda through the music of Iluvatar. Each of the Ainur had their own part of the music, save for Melkor, who at the time was counted as the strongest of them. His vision of what Arda should have been differed from Eru's, which led to his banishment and great rebellion that would cause most of the ills of the world of Arda. So there you go.
There you go. And there we are.
So, though subordinate to the Valar, the Maiar were powerful, including Melian and Sauron, and Aloran, who is Gandalf, and then many of the Balrogs. So, it was originally Melkor's intention to rule Arda, but Manwë, the superior of the Valar, called other spirits to help him confront Melkor. Melkor withdrew from Arda, and he plotted the return. So, and then that's when he had Ungoliant, the big spider, and then killed the trees of Valinor. So what I'm trying to say is, first of all, I think I was right about Manwë. Melkor was the strongest, and then diminished himself. And I believe there's a point in the Silmarillion where Manwë is like, wow, you really have fallen from grace. I don't know what was cringy about that. That's what I'm saying. I want this person to come back and be like, I want him on GGP.
Oh, yeah.
And I want him to be like, hey, let's set the record straight.
People like to comment, you know, they don't want to, you know, you just want to get on there and say some stuff and then move on. I think that's one of the issues we face as a society. You know, you type in some stuff because you're triggered and you're unhappy and you want to just say some stuff.
I'm glad they commented. I don't take offense to it. I just want them to back it up a little bit.
I agree. I think specific is good, and so knowing the cringe is the more you know.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on being cringy.
We're gonna get cringy all over again.
No,
I love the comment. I absolutely think it's awesome when people comment on our stuff. And
speaking of, like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Join our Patreon if you would like. Patreon.com/Geeky Gamer Podcast. Share our stuff. Tell us how we're wrong. We dare you.
Yeah,
Tell us how we're wrong.
You.
Jump in them comments. Jump on the Twitch stream, on YouTube, whatever. We will talk to you. We will lampoon you. Have no fear.
And we will allow you to lampoon us right back.
Yeah, we will get. Listen, we'll lampoon. To poon, lamped. Yeah, we were just talking about how Melkor is the strongest of the Vala, and I'll fight you.
Nah,
I'll fight you on this.
Or lose.
Yeah, I might lose, but I'll fight.
Just get out. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, now we have 3 viewers. It's actually people on Twitch watching now. Say something in the comments if you're viewing on Twitch. Let us know you're there, because we would like to actually talk to you guys a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, we were going through all sorts of D&D stuff. Professor Dungeon Master a little bit earlier, and talking about the new version of D&D, if it's actually popular, is it going in the right direction? Talking about. I mean, we had some Critical Role stuff. We could do Critical Role. If you're in the comments and you want us to talk about Critical Role, we will extend our hot takes and talk about it. But I'm gonna give you like 20 seconds to actually respond. Otherwise, we've been on this bitch for like 2.5 hours. We're pretty done. So let us know very soon, or else we're gonna leave.
I think we're good.
I like your shirt, Ken.
Oh yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
It's just a flush. It's a good goddamn shirt. Oh, we
a
lost
great
one. All right,
shirt.
fuck it. All right, we'll be back like not next Monday, actually. Or wait, this
Is next
Thursday.
Monday out? We're out next Monday because I won't be here.
No, we're on next Monday because
we are.
We're streaming Linen Tapestry, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's next Monday. I think next Monday we're. Hold on one second. I need my phone. Something that our guest today could have used to contact us. But didn't.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, but didn't. Yeah, I guess we're not because I have 2 rehearsals next Monday, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to be there.
No, next Monday is good. It's the following Monday that's not good.
Oh, yeah, we should be back next Monday, at least for like a session 0 for
Yeah.
the Linen Tapestry, which is our buddy John's new tabletop role playing game. I think you can find. I think you can find.
My Italian accent is not good because like
Listen.
I was kind of joking.
Scusi,
I was joking. It's like it's me, Mario.
oh, Bobby, Bobby. You can do it. Apparently in Roma, they
Roma.
the accent has this. It's like every word has like you weigh like 100 pounds. Yeah.
I will eat some pizza and do
Why
all
is it
of the
always pizza?
wildest things. Yeah. No, and then it turns into it's us wild and crazy guys from Saturday Night Live, Steve Martin.
Yeah,
and-
you gotta wait. Wow, they're crazy. We're gonna be doing that on Monday.
You did it. I wonder if I could
Session
do it like
0.
a Brooklyn accent.
I mean, that's Italian adjacent, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe we could go Brooklyn. We could go tough guy. Tough guy out of New York.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're in the Legends of Venice. Hey,
Hey,
capiche? Hey,
you see the thing?
I see you. You're on the gondola.
Yeah.
You know, we run
were
all the
just watching-
gondolas around here, so told you not to come back. Okay.
We were just watching The Sopranos, eating a pizza.
Eating the pizza. Hey, don't talk about the pizza.
We gotta get
Anyway.
a slice or two up in this place.
Hey, why don't we go for a ride on the gondola? Bring your pizza with you.
What are you doing to
Take
me?
the cannolis. What do you do? What is it? Leave the body, take the cannolis.
Just leave. I don't know. We should just leave it here before it goes any worse.
Let's get out of here. Yeah. All right. So Monday, we're also got GGP on next Thursday.
Yeah, Eric
Assuming our
Zimmerman.
fucking guest shows up, Eric Zimmerman.
Yeah,
Eric, we're
he's-
giving you the countdown.
No, he's a
72
friend of
hours,
mine.
dog.
He's like
good.
he's super cool.
Good. Hey,
If he
Eric.
didn't show, it's like he has accountability to me,
Right.
But he's like this guy like directed some Nine Inch Nails videos
Oh.
and some Ministry videos and like some.
Sweet.
This has been a filmmaker for years and years and years.
Well,
edited
all
some
of your guests have actually been
groundbreaking
cool. So,
documentaries.
yeah, my guests have not.
And
My guests have been like no shows.
No, that's just Podmatch. Podmatch people have been no shows.
Yeah, man,
I'm sure,
Podmatch.
like if for some reason they can't make it next week, we'll reach out to them and confirm. But I guess they made a documentary about noise artists in Los Angeles, which is close to my heart because I was a noise artist in Los Angeles and I would clear rooms. It was awesome.
Dude, I would clear rooms. Oh, did I tell you? I have to tell you this really quick before we
Yeah.
go.
Do it.
'Cause why not have it on Twitch? So my old band, Intrepid Adventurers, or Mao Wang in Chinese, because we toured in China a bunch.
Nice.
Intrepid Adventurers. So I did the whole CD baby thing, put it all online. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? Well, super canceled, stricken from all of those platforms. Literally don't exist anymore. If you had us on your playlist, gone.
Oh, what happened?
Gone. My CD Baby account axed, no email, nothing. Gone.
What happened?
got canceled, dog.
Canceled by
Spotify and then CD Baby, which
Was it
I've
the
reached out.
content?
No, so it is my fault. It is my fault.
Okay.
I apparently broke the rules, but I take issue with it.
Mhm.
Of course. Okay, so what happened was this.
Hold on one second. Let's record this.
Yeah, you should record it. Thought you were recording
This
the whole
is
time.
Ken and Bill. We're talking about
Ken
being
and Bill.
canceled.
Talking about canceled. Right. So say all of what I just said again, because I have to get the door.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently
Yeah. Oh,
Bill was
yeah.
in
Say
this
it all
band,
again.
and they had toured China, and they toured all over the place. Put some music on Spotify, and in short, it's no longer on Spotify or CD Baby or any of the other outlets that are out there. I feel like I'm on the spot because I don't know the story. So we're supposed to be telling a story, but I don't have that information to tell the story. And now I'm sitting here thinking, what did I get myself into? Being canceled isn't fun. If you're pre-canceled, that's not fun either. And the guests that we had today canceled by just not telling us that they were not going to be here, and then also not showing up. So it's kind of like that, only different. I'm going to stop recording. We'll start this all over again in a few minutes because I don't have any more to say about this. Yep. So, what you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna have dinner soon. I hope you're eating, because if you don't eat, then you can't shit, and then you'll die. Just think about it.
So sorry.
All right, so let's start at the beginning.
Yeah,
I'm
start
gonna. All right, you go.
Touche, sir. Right. So this is what had happened. So my old band, the Intrepid Adventurers, should look them up on Bandcamp. We toured in China a whole bunch back in the day. And I did this thing called CD Baby. If you don't know anything about the music stuff and DIY music industry, you can essentially pay for an account on one of these sites, and they'll put you on Spotify and Apple Podcast and Amazon and all that crap. So I did this back in the day, like 2012, 2013. In all that time, less than 1,000 views on all the songs, whatever. But it was kind of cool to be like, hey, type in Intrepid Adventurers on Spotify, and boom, pops up. It's all legit, right? Or looks legit. And in that time, when it comes to the streaming, how much revenue did we make? In 10 years, I think we had $10, right? So not much. All right. I look it up the other day. I'm actually told by my, at the time, my girlfriend. And she was like, oh yeah, it is not there. In my playlist, it's gone. And I was like, what the fuck? So I look it up. Can't find my own music. It's not there. Log into the account. No music. I'm like, what? I paid for this. It's been a long time, but I paid for this. I was like, well, maybe there's a statute of limitations. Is that right? Maybe there's a limit to how long that's going to be on. Who knows what happened? So I look at Apple Music, not there. Look at Amazon, not there. Music is gone. All right, well, there's obviously a problem. I contact Spotify, waiting on their response. Jump on CD Baby. I'm like, yo, I'm going to log in real quick, and can't log in. Account gone. So this account that I've had for over 10 years has been axed. I logged in like not 2-3 months ago. So what's the deal? So I email them. No response ever. This happened about a month ago. Still haven't responded to my ticket or whatever. Spotify did, to their credit. It was one of those AI things, and I'm like, representative, get a person. I think their name was James R or something. And I'm like, yo, here's what's going on. And they're like, okay, well, give me a second. Let me look up your account and check out the music and all these things, right? I sit on this, granted, it's not on the phone, it's on their website. I'm sitting there for like 30, 45 minutes, like straight up, waiting on them to check my stuff. Finally, I get on and I'm like, hey, it's been like half an hour. Like, what's the deal? Oh, hold on a second, 45 minutes. Hey, what's going on? Are you having like a hard time finding the music? Like, and they're like, okay, so your music was taken down. It's gone. It's not. We were notified that you broke the rules, or someone did, so it's been axed, and we wash our hands of it. You're gonna have to contact whoever your distributor is. And I'm like, and then they're like, okay, is that all you need today? I'm like, no. Like, I want to talk to the supervisor. I want, like, what happened? What's the deal? And for this, I need a beer. One moment.
Well, clearly the music is still on Bandcamp, so we're going to listen to some of it because that's what we do.
A tiny, tiny Modelo. That's some canceled music right there, Ken.
I think it's really good.
No one else does.
So you gotta tell me why it's canceled though.
Well, so I had an idea, and that's why it was canceled. I think I told you about this idea.
Did you? I totally forgot about what it was.
Yeah.
The idea.
So there was a
clearly
thought.
I'm a bad friend because I don't remember.
It's fine. So I'm gonna turn down my own music a little bit. All right. So the idea was this. I was like, okay, what actually gets some revenue from these streams, right? From these plays. And as it turns out, at least what was recorded was you need to get about 1,000 plays and you get about $1, something like that. It actually might be far less than that, but I worked out the math and I was like, okay, if I could get a certain number of plays on a song, then hold on, let me do this again. Just wait. If I could get a certain amount of plays,
I know what you did.
yeah, you do. So now you remember. So I'm like, if I can get a certain amount of plays, then I can actually get a little bit of revenue.
But my response, yeah, go ahead.
Right. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna choose a song, the shortest song. It's one of my favorites. It's Black Woman. It's about 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 12 seconds actually. And I did the math, and I was like, what is wrong with me just listening to my song on repeat? I'm on Spotify. I do that. Why not listen to my own music on repeat, and just keep that going? Why not? Now, of course, the question is, surely people would do this, right? And maybe it'll do a thing that like YouTube does, where it's like it just doesn't count those views. That's the reason you don't do it. Whatever. I'm at $10 of revenue over the course of 10 years. I'd like to hit that $100 mark and at least get the payout finally. And that'll take forever, so whatever. I might as well do it. So I start doing that. And then I sit there thinking, well, hold on. Why don't I just make a bunch of Spotify accounts? I already have like 3, right? Because I would forget the password or whatever. I just make a bunch of Spotify accounts and stream my music on repeat. Like, why not do that? Because technically, I'm not overtaxing their system with like 10 accounts, right? If it was like 100,000 or 1,000 accounts, it's one thing. Even that. It's 10 accounts, and I am listening to the songs. It's what's the actual problem with that? Yeah, it's a gray area. I'll give it that.
It's definitely gray area.
It's not a person sitting there like, oh my God, listen to these lyrics. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bill is amazing
Is it
lyrics.
cancel your account worthy? I feel like that's success.
So I listened to it, and I am committed to this. And I do it for 3 straight months.
Yeah.
So I got this computer dedicated. I mean, the computer's like just tearing ass,
Grinding
like
away.
heated up.
You got a
going.
server.
And what happens is, at a certain point, it uses all the resources on your computer, and you have to refresh the page. So I'm like,
Sure.
I have like certain times a day that I'm doing this over the course of 3 months. Why 3 months? I wanted to make a dent in it. I wanted to get to 250,000 views, and then actually get to, the reason I did it 3 months is because you don't actually see if there's any kind of payment until a quarter, as in a quarter of the year goes by. It's every quarter that they update. So I said, why not do it for a quarter, right? And this computer's not doing anything anyway. I'm listening to my music, it's getting views, and even if it doesn't actually garner any cash, right? Because this is small potatoes. Even if it was supposed to be about $1,000, even if it doesn't do that, because they're like, yo, dude, you're obviously just repeating your music. It gives views, and maybe those views will push the song into someone's feed, right? So I can get actual people to listen to my music, which is the goal. I know I'm not going to make any money off Spotify. It's just to break through that barrier in some way. That was my idea.
Yeah.
I get up to about 350,000 views.
Did it count the views?
Yeah. Because they were real views. I mean, I
Yeah.
listened to my computer listened to the entire song.
Yeah.
A lot.
But it was all coming from the
have the
same
numbers.
IP address, and I'm guessing that they can track that.
Well, I think it takes them a long time.
Right.
And here's the thing. When the quarter goes and they're like, hold on, we owe someone money.
Yeah.
They're like, well, where did the views come from? Well, okay, it's one person listening to their music a lot. Like a whole lot.
Sure.
Right? Now, it is not tied to me necessarily, because see, I have a Spotify account. That is not tied to my music on Spotify.
Sure.
You have to have a distributor to get on Spotify. So
Right.
it's tied to my distributor, right? So it's not tied to the IP address in that regard, right? Instead, they're like, okay, there's this band that suddenly has 250,000 views, and we technically owe them like $1,200.
Yeah.
So we're going to investigate that to find out what the deal is. It's fine. That's fine. That's a prerogative. Perfectly fine by me. I think how I screwed myself over was I contacted them, and I was like, hey, my song has a lot of views. I haven't seen it updated. I need to see if it's going to update anything. And I think that made them go, wait a minute.
This guy's trying to pull a fast one.
This dude's trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah.
Now,
you're lucky they don't
that
come after
apparently-
you for violations. They just cut you out.
what are they going to do?
I don't know.
Well, they did. So let's say that violates
They
something.
clearly did.
Let's say that violates something. According to Spotify, it violates their use policy, whatever. So don't repeat the same song over and over and over with several accounts, because that violates their policy.
Yeah.
I get it. At the same time, they're not paying artists any whatever. It's me
doesn't-
rationalizing.
Right.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. The issue that I take is there's no warning. They're just like, fuck your music. It's gone. Destroyed. And then my distributor, who I paid, was like, we're not going to give you a, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Maybe someone is doing this. Here's the thing. The distributor, there's no connection to my accounts doing it.
Right.
The Spotify, there's no connection to my accounts doing it.
Right.
As in my accounts that put on the music to the distributor. Which means, let's say that
it happened to you. Say, so you've got a friend that you don't.
For example,
well, a former friend of who has a band that you don't like.
Yep. You can kill their music, get 10 Spotify accounts, hit repeat, do it for 2 months. They will say, oh, they violated our shit. Boom. Not only do you get them canceled on Spotify, their distributor, without warning, will kill their account. Their music is gone.
Yeah.
That's the problem I fucking have. Because the thing is, people can say, oh, well, Bill, you're prevaricating, you're rationalizing, you're obviously against. Sure. No contest, though. They don't give a flying fuck about you.
Right.
That is what this highlights. It also highlights that the plan didn't work, and I think it's hilarious.
Right.
At
but
the
I
very
mean,
least,
the bigger thing is that, you know, you've
can
got
be
somebody
abused.
that burned you in your local area, and you can burn them back by
and there's no recourse
because
CD,
like,
CD Baby doesn't respond to you.
yeah, they don't care.
They're just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
They don't
Give
care.
us that money again. We'll put your shit back up.
Yeah. And
Like,
you could
that's-
re-upload all of that stuff, but it takes a while to put a song through the system. Like just one song, it takes probably 20 minutes to.
And any
get the
views that you
song,
had
put
are
the
gone.
thing,
They're
all
gone.
the views are gone. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say that they had a few 100,000 views that were naturally
Sure.
gotten. You just killed their account.
Sure.
And there's stories of this stuff happening. The fact is that it highlights the idea that you are their content and they don't care about you.
Right.
Right?
Well, yeah.
I would have appreciated them being like, hey, look, what you're doing, you're not supposed to do. We're going to remove all those views. Don't do that again or else. I would have appreciated that, but I'm small potatoes and they don't care. Instead,
it just shows that, you know, if you want to screw somebody over, you can do it in so many, just another way. It's easier to screw somebody over than lift them up.
yeah. Now, the other thing that I get out of this is my music was up for 12, 13 years, and it got less than 1,000 views on anything,
Sure.
on any of the songs.
Sure. know
I
what that's like.
actually prefer it being on none of those platforms because, in my opinion, fuck those platforms. Now, maybe this is just because I'm not popular and I haven't been successful. Perhaps that's what it is. I prefer to say, you know what? I am a DIY artist. Go to Bandcamp because when you buy a song, I actually get the fucking money.
Yeah. You get
It's an
a
actual
larger
engage-
percentage.
You can just go listen to the song on Bandcamp,
Yeah.
and it's all me. And I think that is the way to promote. And if people really, really love it, I don't want to be on fucking Spotify. You don't get fucking paid for it anyway. Fuck those people.
Yeah,
Fuck
I
those
think
people. Fuck those corporations, dude.
if I dug into my TuneCore account, I probably don't. I
It's
don't
not
even know
worth
if, like, yeah, I don't even know if they will tell me, because I changed my credit card recently. Maybe they won't tell me that.
Yeah,
I'm not paying my
it's
bill.
bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're not. You know, you're paying for this access, but
Sure.
it's a fabled access
Sure.
because you're not gonna. Your music is not going to be able to compete with whatever dumb algorithm studios and such have.
Right.
Right? I say fuck them.
Right.
Fuck them.
Well,
Nobody's
I
listening
think
to
there's a
music
lot of
anyway.
there's a lot of truth to that. Absolutely.
So-
but, you know, you also have to, you got to put some money in to get some money. You gotta buy in any situation, and you gotta put the time and effort. So, like,
Sure.
if you're not
I did
if you're
put
not
the time and
touring,
effort.
if you're not touring around with your band, and you have a Spotify account that's, or, you know, if you have a TuneCore, or CD Baby, or any of the digital aggregate for music, and you're paying for it, it's a waste of time because nobody's going to spontaneously find you.
Right.
What is the reality is
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
you got to be out there being a musician, and
Posting the video doesn't do it.
it doesn't.
You got to
do
be
it.
the musician.
You got to be out there meeting people,
but-
doing things. You got to leave your house.
But you get into this mentality of, I need all these things.
Mhm.
I'm going to set all these things up. And there's all these people that will take your money to do it.
Yeah. So I just had an epiphany. You know, if we're ever in the same area and we have a couple other like-minded people with us, we gotta do IRL games on a stage. Play the punk clubs with our you know, stream/play. I mean, if we're not streaming, we could record it and
We should do it.
play a
It'd be a
show.
lot of fun.
Hell's Bar.
As in play a show, a GGP?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be great. Have people
And
like rolling around.
Yeah, drink beer, have some like people yelling, "What the hell are you doing?"
Have you looked at Harmon Quest?
Yeah, it's what Harmon Quest did, I guess.
Yeah, it's essentially Harmon Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I'm
gonna be in town.
You make the show.
And we could just do a show in April. I am in town.
Yeah. Well,
Hit Alice Bar and be like, yo, we're gonna play D&D here. People
Yeah,
can come in.
I look forward to the to seeing if that'll happen. But
Why not?
anyway, I think we should sign off and
All right, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for staying tuned to this thing that we do
Sometimes. We'll be back Monday for
Thursday.
Linen Tapestry. We're gonna do a session 0. Our buddy John it's his game that he's created. Very deep lore game. We'll be back next Thursday as well with Eric Zimmerman. This is GGP. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. All that helps us immensely. We are so DIY. We're so indie. If you would like to help monetarily, patreon.com/geekygamerpodcast, or you can do the coffee thing. And of course, we want to thank Couchfire Media for the production. We want to thank all lowercase letters and Mr. Interrupt for the music. And, Trois Replay from 2023.
Yeah. Bye.